لا حول إلا بالله العلي العظيم حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل فنعم المولى ونعم النصير أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على الرسول الثقلين محبوب رب المشرقين والمغربين جد الحسن والحسين أبو القاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيت الطيبين الطاهرين والمعصومين والمظلومين وعلى لعنة الله دائم أجمعين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا الله صل على بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي امري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي سنقرئك فلا تنسى رب زدني علما صلوات اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وجل بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعاديات سبحا فالموريات قدحا فالمغيرات صبحا فأسران به نقعا فوسطنا به جمعا إن الإنسان لربه لكنود وإنه على ذلك لشهيد وإنه لحب الخير لشديد أفلا يعلم إذا بؤسر ما في القبور وحصل ما في الصدور إن ربهم بهم يومئذ لخبير صلوات الله صل على محمد وآل محمد وأجل. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Tonight we have gathered here to celebrate the auspicious occasion of the birthday of our beloved holy first Imam, the commander of the faithful, Ali ibn Abi Talib. So I want to congratulate and extend my greetings to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to the Ahl Bayt and the 14 Masumin, and especially the Imam of our time, Imam Mahdi Ajallallahu Ta'ala Faraj al-Sharif. Salawat. Allah salli ala. On the birthday of his great grandfather, and to all the Mu'min and Mu'minats, especially all of you have gathered here on site and online on this platform. I know the 13th Rajab is falling on the Tuesday, but we're celebrating 2 days ahead the Waladat of Amir al-Mu'mineen. There is no bigger occasion than the birthday of our first Imam in the Shia followers of Ahlul Bayt. So this is one of our biggest celebration. When you want to talk about Amir al-Mu'mineen, it's not an easy task. It's a very difficult task to speak about a giant like Amir al-Mu'mineen, Imam al-Muttaqeen, Yasub al-Muslimin, Asadullah al-Ghalib, Ali ibn Abi Talib. He's like a book which has a beginning but no end. Why he has a beginning? Because he's created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and he's bound by time. But this book has no end. Why this book has no end? Because of his connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Imagine 14 centuries have passed. People have been talking about him. Authors have been writing books about him. Poets have been writing poems about him. Lecturers have been lecturing about him. And we have barely scratched the surface. When you want to give a speech, the difficult part is to gather the material. And that's once you overcome that part, it's very easy to give a speech. But in case of Amir al-Mu'mineen, there is so much material. Where to focus? Which area about him to talk about? Which angle to focus? It's like an ocean. Amir al-Mu'mineen is like an ocean which has no boundaries. So you're standing in front of an ocean. All you can do is quench your thirst. Take a cup of water and quench your thirst. That's how magnificent Imam Ali is. And that's why, you know, with Nadi Ali, we call him Nadi Ali Mazzar al-Ajaib. Mazzar, he's the, you know, that unknown, the things that human mind cannot imagine. He can bring about those things. Mazzar al-Ajaib. Nevertheless, let's try to, you know, we have limited time. We're going to try to quench our thirst with a little bit of his fazail tonight. And first I want to talk to basics, that why is it so important? You know, you all year around, you know, whenever a speaker comes, any occasion, and if a speaker is not talking about anything, he's talking about Amir al-Mu'mineen, fazail of Amir al-Mu'mineen. So I, you know, just for my kids, like, why is it so important? And sometimes people say, you know, we should have a person who's talking about me, except, you know, other than Amir al-Mu'mineen, like this guy just all the time talks about, but so why is it so important? So, you know, first, I just want to point out the basic, you know, because the foundation of our religion, the foundation of our Shia mazhab. So we look at, I put the Asul-e-Din, you know, we have 5 Asul-e-Din, the 5 pillars of Islam. These are the pillars where our religion is standing upon. Number 1 is Tawheed, oneness of Allah. Number 2 is Adl, acknowledging that Allah is the most just, the Adl of Allah. Number 3 is Nabawa, the prophethood of Prophet Muhammad. Number 4 is Imamat. And number 5 is Qiyamah, belief in the day of judgment and preparing for the Qiyamah. But you see that these are the 5 pillars where our religion is standing upon. If you take the Imamat out, our religion, our faith will fall. So this is like the basic why we talk about Amir. It's so significant, it's so important to talk about Amir al-Mu'mineen. Because of Imamat, he's the first Imam. Imamat starts from him. And you know, there's always a question like, you know, the Sunnis that, you know, because, you know, in this Muslim world, you know, the Shias are always a minority with 5-10%. And people always ask you, where does this say Quran? Where is the name of Ali in Quran? You guys are all the time talking about Ali. Where does Allah say is in the Quran? Where's Ali? Amir is the Imam. You know, you guys have this belief of Imam. Where is it in the Quran? So I just put the first side. That what I believe is the prototypical ayat for a Shia to know. The easy way to remember is Allah made it easy for us. It's the Surah number 5, Surah Al-Ma'idah, ayat number 55. So if ever you put in the Google 555, it will pull up this ayat. So Quran 555, 5.55. It will pull up this ayat. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Innama waliyukumullahu wa rasuluhu wallazina amanu allazina yuqimuna salata wa yutuna zakata wa hum raki'un. Sadaqallahu al-aliyyul azim. Salli ala Muhammad. Innama waliyukumullah. Certainly Allah is your wali and the Prophet is your wali. Wallazi amanu allazi yuqimuna salata, and the believers who establish zakat, wa yutuna zakata, who pays zakat, wa hum rakim, while bowing down. There is nobody else. There's only one person in the history who paid zakat while in the halat of raku, in the state of raku, and that was Amir al-Mu'mineen, Imam Ali. Ya Ali. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. So this is for our kids. To anybody ask you, where is it to talk about the imamat of Amir al-Mu'mineen? Why are you guys talking about Imam? And this is the ayat, 555 Quran. And the Sunnis, nobody can dispute this ayat because there was nobody else. All the Sunni scholars accept this. It was only Ali ibn Abi Talib who gave the zakat in the state of Raku. So that's in my belief. This is the prototypical ayat for the imamat for the imamat of Amir al-Mu'mineen in the Quran. So I think Quran is there are so many ayats about Amir al-Mu'mineen. It's there's a huge number, but I'm gonna just, because of the limited time, I'm gonna quickly point out only a few of them that I think are the most significant. Can we go to the next slide? This is the Surah Al Imran, ayat number 61. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. فَقُلْ تَعَالُوا نَدْعُوا أَبْنَاءَنَا وَأَبْنَاءَكُمْ وَنِسَاءَنَا وَنِسَاءَكُمْ وَأَنفُسَنَا وَأَنفُسَكُمْ ثُمَّ نَبْتَهِلْ فَنَجْعَلْ لَعْنَةَ اللَّهِ عَلَى الْكَاذِبِينَ. This is the ayat that came down at the time of event of Mubahala. And it was said that, bring your bring your sons and we'll bring our sons. Bring your women and we'll bring our women. And bring your nafs and we'll bring our nafs. And then we'll do the lanat of Allah. We'll do the lanat of Allah, whoever is wrong. So we know that this event of Mubahala, Prophet Muhammad took only 4 people with him. In the women section, Nisa'una wa nisa'akum, he took Bibi Fatima to Zahra. Wa abna'una abna'akum, he took Hassan and Hussein. That's why we call Imam Hassan and Hussein not only the grandchildren of Prophet Muhammad, as a son of Prophet Muhammad. This ayat is the evidence that we claim Imam Hassan and Hussein to be son of Prophet Muhammad. Plus grandchildren, plus in the Quran. This is the only 2 kids that Prophet Muhammad took with him. And he took Amir al-Mu'mineen. Anfusana wa anfusakum. So he was the only person who's called the nafs of Prophet, Amir al-Mu'mineen. He's the only person. Allahumma. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad wa ajjal faraj. I'm going to just quickly mention 1 or 2 merits and then move on to the main the topic of my speech today. One of the merit that is not very commonly heard, and I myself learned a couple years ago, so I thought I'll share. But let me just, for the basic, one of the other, the fazail of Amir al-Mu'mineen is the birth. He's the only person in the universe. No prophet had this status to be born in the Kaaba. And you all know that, Fatima bint Asad, his mother, came close to Kaaba. The wall of the Kaaba opened and she entered in the Kaaba. She stayed in the 3 days in the Kaaba. And Amir al-Mu'mineen was born inside the Kaaba. And he did not open his eyes until Prophet Muhammad went inside the Kaaba. And Imam Ali opened his eyes and looked at the face of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. So the nice, interesting hadith from narrated by Aisha, the wife of the Prophet. He said the one time the Prophet was ill, and her father Abu Bakr came to see Prophet Muhammad and to come and meet a sick person for the so he came in to visit Prophet Muhammad. So at that time Prophet was in the staying in the house of Aisha. So he came in and he came into the room and he saw that Imam Ali is already sitting in the room. So, and the Prophet Muhammad, he had fever and he was sick and his eyes were closed and they were sitting in. So Aisha was sitting in the other side of the room and there was a curtain and she was sitting on the side and she started looking at her dad. She saw that Abu Bakr is looking at the face of, again and again, staring at Amir al-Mu'mineen. She got mad. She said, "Ya Bata, my dad, you come for the ta'ziyah of the Mahdari of my dad. And you're looking again and again at Ali. Why are you looking at Ali again and again? You came here for the Mahdari of my husband. So, and she couldn't control herself, so she asked that question to her dad. Abu Bakr said, "Oh, my daughter, I've heard from the Prophet of Allah that looking at the face of Ali is ibadat. That's why I'm looking at Ali." She said, "Dad," she calmed down. She said, "Dad, you're right. I've heard from the Prophet of Allah that doing the zikr of Ali is ibadat." She said that, and Prophet, up till this day, Prophet was like a mini coma, like he was highly, high fever. When he heard this, Prophet got up from the bed and said, "Abu Bakr, you are right. Looking at Ali is ibadat. Aisha, you are right. Doing the zikr of Ali is ibadat." Now let me tell you, having the love of Ali is in your heart is also ibadat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad, ali Muhammad. So this is I think the merit that nobody has. There is three things that just looking at them is ibadah. Number one, looking at Amir al-Mu'mineen is ibadah. Looking at Khana Kaaba, the house of Allah, is ibadah. Looking with a happy face to your parents is an ibadah. But the only difference is that, if you are not in Saudi Arabia, you can't look like at Khana Kaaba. And if you say from here, Ya Kaaba, there's no sawab. But if you're sitting here, you say, Ya Ali, it has sawab. And I'll quote you the hadith from Imam Jafar al-Sadiq that we are saying, Ya Nara Hedri, what merit it has. You will be blown away. Like, this is what a lot of people go crazy. Because when they look at Amir al-Mu'mineen, the fazail of Amir al-Mu'mineen, they cannot, there's a whole clan of people who call him God, because they just mesmerized by the merits of Amir al-Mu'mineen. But Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat. Just one or two hadiths, and I'm going to say, the famous hadith that you always heard that, the Prophet said, I'm the city of the knowledge, and Ali is the gate of that knowledge. If you want to have access to that knowledge, you have to come through that gate. You have to come through the Amir al-Mu'mineen. And the Prophet said, Allah has created me and Ali from the same nur. But Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat. So, there are so many merits. Can we go to the next slide? Of Amir al-Mu'mineen that are mentioned in the Quran. And, we heard the poetry, and you will see that, we're all them, alhamdulillah, that we're talking about all the time, the famous battles. Battle of Badr, Battle of Uhud, Battle of Khandaq, the Battle of Trench, and the Battle of Khyber. And so in the beginning of my speech, I recited the surah number from Quran, Surah 100, Al-Adiyat. This surah is in the honor of Amir al-Mu'mineen. There is nobody else except him, and it's amazing. I came across a couple of years ago, and I was so excited. I was like, Subhanallah. So I want to share that that surah Adiyat on number 100. If you recite Salat Imam Jafar al-Tayyar, it's highly recommended to recite Surah Adiyat as a part of that Salat Jafar al-Tayyar. So when I was looking at this, I was so happy. It's such a big honor to this battle. There's two big references. Number one is Hayatul Qulub by Allama Majlisi, Volume 2. And second, it was so great to see. The reference that I put down is Ayatollah Jafar Subhani, mashallah, the brother, father of our brother Subhani, he has written a book called Message. The name of the book is Message. It's about the biography of the Prophet Muhammad, and it has been translated in English. And interestingly, it's free. It's on both of these are references present on alislam.org. If you put in your phone alislam.org, and if you put this battle, the Battle of Zatul Salasil, you will see that you can read the whole detail. It's very exciting to see Brother Ayatollah Subhani, because he's the marja of our contemporary type. Like Allama Majlisi, probably 100 years ago, 150 years ago, he wrote this, but somebody who's present in current time, and you're going to find a reference from that, it makes you very happy, And so this battle, the Ayatollah Jafar Subhani discusses the battle of Zatul Salasil in his chapter 47 in his book, and you can get a free PDF on alislam.org, and this book is available on Amazon as well. Can we go to the next slide? So, this, the reference for this battle is, I think, after the Battle of Trench. So just to make a reference, there was total about, I think, 83 battles the Prophet Muhammad, before he died. A total number of 83, and he personally participated in 37 of the battles. So one of this battle, when there was a good number of Muslimin, when Muslims won a bunch of major battles. This is related by Sheikh Tusi and Sheikh Tabrisi. Tabrisi is a Sunni scholar, and so Tabrisi, our scholars narrate a lot of things from Tabrisi, even though he's Sunni, but it's like a couple hundred years old tafsir of Quran that he wrote, and it's a continuous reference, and they all narrate from Imam Jafar Sadiq, and Ibn Abbas is the cousin of Prophet Muhammad, is the son of Uncle Abbas of Prophet Muhammad. So basically, this battle happened because about 12,000 men came from the valley of Yabes. The valley of Yabes, I researched, it's in the western part of Syria. They basically sweared upon on a covenant that we will kill Muhammad and Ali, and we will not sit down until we kill Muhammad and finish the Islam, because this is why the beginning of all this is when Kafar of Makkah, they got defeated in the Badr and the Uhud and the Khandaq. So they went to this part of Syria, and they knew these people. They're very, very, these are giant people, very big time warriors, and very tall and wrestler type of people, and very, very brave and warrior fighters. And told them about the how this new prophet has come and a new religion has come, and they have defeated so many battles. And so these people got excited. They said, we will kill all the Muslims. We'll finish Muhammad. We'll finish this. And they said, we will not kill Muhammad. We will actually bring them. We will bring, and they swear upon. And it says, tell me who are the most important. This is Muhammad and Ali, his cousin. And we will not kill Muhammad. We will bring them back to chains, back to Valley of Yabes. We will not sit and rest until we get Muhammad and Ali. And whoever comes Muslim, we'll kill it. But we will bring Muhammad in chains back to our hometown. So these 12,000 men, they gathered in the valley they started marching towards Medina. They gathered in the valley of Ramel to attack the Muslims. So Jibreel, kept the Prophet Muhammad informed about the plot that's being plotted against the Muslims. So Prophet Muhammad, ascended the pulpit and announced that the communication that he got from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through angel Jibreel, and Prophet promised that 12 palaces in paradise to anyone who will defeat the people of Yabes. So Abu Bakr accepted to lead the Muslim army. He said, I'll go for it. Muslims made, all the preparation, Prophet Muhammad, about 4,000 men were collected for this war. And Abu Bakr took the commandership of the army, and Prophet told him, go offer them to embrace Islam. If they don't accept it, then we'll go fight and kill their men and their women and make them slave and bring them back but do not come back until you fight with them or you get shaheed. You kill them or you get shaheed. So Abu Bakr led the army, entered the valley, and those people in the valley of Raml, they saw this army coming, and this valley has an entrance that was a lot of mountains and trees. The entrance was kind of tricky in that. So they had people, on top of those mountains watching that army is coming. So these people came and they had ambushed and killed a bunch of people, a bunch of Muslims that were head of the army. And Abu Bakr, basically, they sent their messengers. Abu Bakr looked at the army before the entrance of the valley and their preparation. He got scared, afraid. He told the army, let's move back. We cannot fight this army. They are more than 12,000 people. They are warriors. They are big time. They're loaded with iron from toe to head with the protective gear for the army. And they are like, and people warned him that Prophet told you not to come back. He said, no, we will all be killed here. So he retreated back. He came back without fighting. And Prophet was very upset with him. Prophet, kind of like condemned him for his cowardness and disobedience. Then Prophet gave the commandership to Umar. And he did the same expedition. He followed, gave the same instruction he gave to Abu Bakr, and go and fight the army and don't come back until you kill them or you get shaheed. He went back, and those people will already gave the same treatment to Umar, and Umar looked at the situation and he also turned back. After the Umar came back unsuccessful, Amr bin As, he came to the Prophet and said, you know what, Prophet, I tell you, we can win this war only through cunningness. I can lead the army and through my tricks. Amr bin As, he was the commander of Muawiyah. Later on became the commander of Muawiyah, So Amr bin As, Prophet said, go ahead, you lead the army. He went back and came back the same thing. We can go to the next slide. So finally, Prophet Muhammad, sent the army, said Ali ibn Abi Talib to command the army and to go to the valley of Yabis. And Imam Ali took a little bit different route to go this valley. And a lot of people in that army complained and started writing letters back to Prophet Muhammad that Ali doesn't know what he's doing. He's going in a very different route. It's a very dangerous route. And so Imam Ali warned them, like, I told you, if you obey me, and if you want to obey Allah and Prophet, you need to obey me. If you don't obey me, you are not obeying Allah and the Prophet. So finally, the army, reached the valley of Yabis, and Imam Ali sent a bunch of men to tell them that we want to war, invite them to the religion of Islam. And the infidel said that, replied, you are the man that we wanted to encounter. Get ready for battle and assured we shall slay you and your army. So both parties, went back to their, Imam Ali's army was outside the valley. And on the first day, they went back to their camps. And Imam Ali, in the night, Imam Ali basically prepared. He said, do not unsaddle the horses, feed the horses. We're going to attack the army early morning after the Salat of Fajr. And Imam Ali, a lot of army, Imam Ali just took out the 4,000 army, didn't want to they were just standing outside the valley far before the camp of Imam Ali. So Imam Ali just there's a riwayat that he took 200 men and only 14 men. But let's say he took 200 men in the morning with him and went to the battlefield. And it was dark in the morning, still after Fajr. And Imam Ali asked them to come on one-to-one battle. And one-to-one, they go and stand in front of the army and says, whoever is brave, come and fight me. Imam Ali these 200 men, they're standing, but nobody. Imam Ali said, come and fight me. So their warriors, one by one, who were very proud and big warriors, Imam Ali, one after the other, Imam Ali killed them one after the other. And finally, their chief of commander, I think his name, chief of the army, his name was Harith bin Makida. He's a similar caliber guy, just like in the battle of Khandaq, the Umar ibn Wad. This man, it says that he was considered to be equal to 500 men. And he finally came to fight with the Imam Ali, and Imam Ali in the second, in the second war, he finished the commander of the army of the Yabis, and that created the panic in the whole army, because they're all main fighters and warriors whom they were proud, just like Khyber. After the Marhab and his two brothers were killed, Khyber was conquered. The same way when they killed the main generals of the army of the Ayyabis, this 12,000 people, they were, all these, and this is the time, the army, the 4,000 people who were standing outside the valley, they started marching into the valley. And what they did is, they basically chained all the people. And that's why the name of this battle is called Zatul Salasil, means chains. It was huge number of, chains, the slaves, the people were put into chain and brought back to Medina. And the Muslims have won this battle, and Imam Ali did this. And it was a battle that, and the owner of this battle, Imam Allah Ta'ala, that morning after that Fajr prayer. Can we go to the next slide? Early in the morning, Rasulullah, Prophet Muhammad was in the Medina, was leading the Fajr prayer. And after reciting the Surah Fatiha, he recited this Surah Adiyat. And people asked him, what surah did you recite, the second surah? We've never heard this before, Ya Rasulullah. Says the angel Jibreel just gave me in the good news that we have won the war. And this is Allah, it came from Allah. And in this, you look at this, Imam Ali and all the people from Medina, they walked outside to receive the Imam Ali and the army. And Rasulullah kissed the forehead of Imam Ali on the way back and returning from this valley of Ramo. And so this I wanted to point, because it will, once you know what this surah is about, it creates, when you have the background, it's always nice to read, you understand. And look at how can Allah is swearing by the horse of Imam Ali. He says, "Wal adiyat dabha." I swear by the runners breathing paddingly. Well, basically, when the horse runs, there's a lot of noise that comes from the nostril of the horses. Allah is swearing by the noise coming from the nostrils of the horses. The sparks, when the horses run very fast, their hoofs strike the ground, and their sparks come out of that hoofs them and strike the ground. Allah is swearing by the sparks that coming out of the hoofs of the horses. Those who make the raid early in the morning, it was still dark. Imam Ali finished the Fajr prayer and attacked the army. Allah is swearing by that. And and they raise the dust, and then they rush upon an assembly. So Allah did a whole ayah, surah in the honor of the events that were happening. That way Imam Ali was moving and doing all the things in the war. And if you we can go to the next page. So if you look at some of the ayat, Allah is warning, and surely is tenacious in the love of wealth. Allah is talking about the people. There are people who are very rich, and their heart is full of wealth, love of wealth. Does he not know what is in the grave is raised, and what is in their chest and breast will be made apparent? So Imam Jafar as-Sadiq said, these were Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad, that these verses were revealed about the hypocrisy of Abu Bakr and Umar. who denied the bounties of Almighty Allah. And when they reached the Jabes Valley, they found the love of the world, opposing to the command of Allah and the Prophet. So at the end, the Almighty Allah informed that He's aware of their infidelity and hypocrisy, and that He will expose them on the day of judgment and recompense them. But Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat. Salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad wa ajjal faraj. So, if Allah is swearing by the horse, by the actions of Amir al-Mu'mineen, I mean, what actions can we describe about Amir al-Mu'mineen, we take his name. He's a person that we call his name all our life. When you want to get up, say, Ya Ali. You want to sit down, say, Ya Ali. You want to climb a bunch of stairs, just say, Ya Ali. When you are teaching your kids to ride a bicycle, you tell your kids, say, Ya Ali. In every part, in every day, we call Ya Ali. Why we call Ya Ali? Why do we call Ya Allah? We should say, Ya Allah, Ya Allah. Why we say Ya Ali? Because we call Ya Ali. Because Prophet called Ya Ali. In every battle, he called Ali, come for help. In the battle of Uhud, when the Sahaba, the people who were commissioned not to lose that position, and they lost their position, and the army of the Kafar turned back, Allah said, the angel Jibreel came to the Prophet Muhammad and said, Muhammad, Allah is saying, either there's two options left for you. You're going to get killed. Either two options. Either I send the army of angels, or you call Ya Ali. And Prophet called Ya Ali. Oh Ali, please come. Ali. So look at, he's a unique man. The words coming out of a man who's the greatest commander of the army, who's the most ferocious on the face of army of Allah, who single-handedly plucked the gate open of gate of Khyber with one hand, and on the other hand, he's crying, he's sobbing in the middle of night. Ya Mawlai, Ya Mawlai, Ya Sayyidi, Antal Mawla wa Anal Abd. وَهَلْ يَرْحَمُ الْعَبْدِ إِلَّا الْمَوْلَى. Oh my master, I'm your servant, you're my master. If you're not gonna be easy on me, who's gonna be? This is the Manajat of Amir al-Mu'mineen we recite in the month of Ramadan, on the Qadr nights. Look at, he has so much power, and look at his humility in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wa Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat. So I'm going to just make a prayer. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us by the right of this blessed occasion, to allow us to remain the followers of Imam Ali until our last moment of our life, and to bless our lineage and our kids and our family also to harbor the passionate love of Ali ibn Abi Talib in our hearts forever. We ask Almighty Allah to increase our knowledge and our love and our respect to Amir al-Mu'mineen, the commander of faithful. And above all, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that on the day of judgment, the commander of faithful does not forget about us. He does the intercession for us. And we also pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that he feed us from the pond of Kauthar. Wa Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. As-salatu was-salam. Please recite a salawat. Thank you very much.